In this video, we are going to discuss the focus group discussion as an instrument for collection of qualitative data. And focus groups are groups discussion that gather together uh, a group of people to discuss a specific topic of interest for the researcher or in which the researcher is interested to generate information about. Usually, the focus group generally involves between 8 to 10 individuals and a moderator who promotes interaction and assures that the discussion remains around the topic of interest, and as well as a typical focus group discussion will last from 1 to 1.5 hours as maximum. The common use of focus group is it's the primary data collection method for obtaining background information about a topic of interest, and as well as it is a tool to create ideas or to explore a certain issues or a certain problems, health problem or social problem or any sort of topic that the researcher is interested to generate information about, and also as a mean to understand the results of quantitative research. Sometimes we use focus group discussion in conjunction with the questionnaire so that we want to understand furtherly or in depth to carry out in-depth understanding for some of the information that are generated by the quantitative methods, for example, a questionnaire. Also, it will help in generating research hypotheses and stimulating new ideas among the participants, and diagnosing the potential for health problems or certain problems, for example, female genital cutting or poor antenatal care attendance, generating impressions of products, programs, and services, and to what extent people are satisfied with the provided services, for example, in a certain health facility. When focus algorithm groups are used rather than in-depth interviews in comparison to another method of data collection for another qualitative data collection method. When group interaction stimulates rich responses, that when group members interact with each other, then more opinions are generated, more opinions are discussed, and people become so interactive to exchange or to stimulate their own opinions and then to exchange information with others. Also, when group interaction is valuable for critical thinking, so that people will start to think about the topic as a result of interaction with the group. Subject matter is not sensitive in the sense that it's a common problem. It's not something sensitive. For example, we cannot use focus group discussion, for example, for analysis of certain modes of transmission, of sexual transmitted diseases, for example, or sexual behavior or something which is so sensitive for the participants. So we use it when the topic is not sensitive. A common problem when we talk about the satisfaction of the antenatal care attendants with the provided service. This is a common problem and not so sensitive. People can give their opinion immediately. So we use focus group discussion when we are focusing on a single subject area is being examined. As I have just mentioned, the satisfaction of the antenatal care attendants with the provided services. Enough is known about the subject to establish topic guide and to initiate the discussion between the group members. An acceptable number of respondents can be assembled in one location, can be invited to actively participate in the discussion. And also when we have limited funds, when we talk about limited funds in the sense that if we carry a focus group discussion for 10 persons, for example, this will be less costly than to carry out an in-depth interview with each one of them. So if you have any sort of limitations in funding, it's better to use focus group discussion rather than interviews. Techniques involved in focus group discussion, either questioning technique, which is subdivided into directive moderating approach or non-directive moderating approach. When we talk about directive moderating approach, we talk about such approach where the researchers prepare questions that are more focused, and thus we have limited range of responses. And here the moderator will influence the initiation of the discussion and the continuation of discussion as well. A non-directive moderating approach, the questions here are open-ended, and usually this encourages emergence of honest respondents' feelings and opinions, that because the questions are open, so the respondents will be free, will be freely to throw their opinions or to discuss their opinions, and they will be encouraged to develop more opinions around the topic, and to discuss the topic extensively. And this also, the non-directive moderating approach will minimize the moderator influence, because the questions are open and the participants are free to discuss their opinions in comparison to the directive moderating approach, which I've just mentioned. Also, we can talk about we can classify the focus group discussion accordingly at focus group flow. For example, a structured focus group, the moderator uses a topic guide to ensure all relevant issues covered. And this is usually readily comparable, because we have structured points or structured aspects that the group should go through it and discuss it from issue 1 to issue 2 to issue 3, for example. Non-structured focus groups, here the moderator works with some sort of sketch or rough topic guide, and the participant determine the flow of the group, where to start, where to end, which one they like to start with, and this will help that the participant will be free to decide which topic they will start at first, and which one will come next, and which one will come lastly. And the key steps in conduct of focus group discussion is that we need to define the subject matter, and as well as we have to be sure about the adequacy of focus groups in meeting the research objectives, which is important before starting the focus group discussion in the field. Identify the respondents who will be able to participate, who will be able to actively participate in the group discussion, and as well as to establish always homogeneous groups based on the respondent variables. The selection of the participants, the participants are purposely selected for participating in the focus group, and as well they should have the ability to provide the information. They have experience, and they have previous experience, so that they can participate actively in the group discussion. Also, we are talking about the sometimes you carry some sort of screening questionnaire, so that will pick out who are the participants capable of participating actively in the group discussion. And this is very important. Determining the number of the groups needed. Usually we conduct as many groups as required to reach the point when information obtained is becoming repetitive and no longer new information is generated. And thus we can conduct a focus group discussion, for example, in each geographical region or location, in which we feel that there are so many differences to be, maybe in this side or that side. So we'll decide which geographical locations that we can make some sort of comparison between these locations. Why a large group is undesirable? People usually, the researchers are undesirable to conduct a large or to stay, to conduct a focus group discussion with large number of participants, because this will lead to restriction of the speaking time for each member, and also the moderator will become directive, and it will be difficult for him or her to control the progress of the group. Some members get frustrated or dissatisfied when the group number is large, and as well as usually with large group, there is tendency for side conversation and some sort of conflicting discussions between the group members. The selection of the focus group moderator, the criteria for the focus group moderator that he or she should communicate well in local language and usually will be able to feel at ease and comfortable to work with other people in the group and to put others at ease so that they will be able to actively participate and also to project enthusiasm and unconditional regard and acceptance of others without any sort of consideration for example, their gender or their age or their socioeconomic status. Convey warmth and empathy for the group members, conceptualize and think through contingencies, and listen and not create others so that people will be will feel free to participate actively and to say their opinion, to state their opinions on table freely. The supporting materials for the focus group discussions that should be prepared before starting the group discussion, and these include the tape recorders, cassette tapes, notebooks, pens, pencils, and other materials. And the researcher should ensure that the supporting materials are prepared and ready to be used before starting the group discussion. The group setting, the following criteria should be considered when selecting the meeting place or the group setting that the group members will gather with each other in it. The setting should be comfortable with optimum temperature, and there will be some sort of privacy for the participants. And as well, a quiet environment is important, and the setting should be easily accessible for the participant, and the environment should not be creating for the participants. The schedule of the group discussion, a clear schedule should be prepared and disseminated to the group members before the meeting. In other words, that the researcher should prepare the schedule for the group discussion, indicating exactly what the group members are going to discuss and at what time they will start, at what time they will end. And lastly, the topic guide, which is important that the researcher is expected to prepare clear guidelines of the topic to be discussed by the group. The conduct of the focus group is always important to make it possible for the moderator to have a good eye contact with all participants, and this will facilitate the communication with between the moderator and the group members. And usually we avoid designing the seating arrangement. People can sit anywhere, and the participants should sit in a circle, and this will facilitate the eye contact between the moderator and the group members and between the group members and each other. Advantages of focus group discussion: it is quick, it's time saving, and with reasonable cost, and usually there is direct interaction with the respondents, and large and rich amounts of data in the respondents on words can be generated within a reasonable time. Respondents can react to and build upon the responses of other group members, and usually there is some sort of flexibility in processing the the generated information and its interpretation, useful to obtain data from children and illiterate persons, and results are easily understood and interpreted. The disadvantages or the limitations of focus group, that there is always limitation of generalization of the results, because we are conducting the focus group discussion among 8 or 10 members, so the generalization is always questionable, and the responses may not be independent from each other, and the results may be biased by a dominant member in the group, and greater faith and confidence on the credibility of the results is always an important issue to consider. Difficulties in summarization interpretation of results. Moderator bias is also an important issue that we have to care for when analyzing and interpreting and reporting the results of the focus group discussion. Thank you very much.